While it wasn't as great as the 2018 Dutch TT, it was still quite something, and there were a couple of unexpected performances here and there. Let's go over the 2021 Dutch GP and see how they all went around. My name is Sankalp and this is your Racing News Fix. Since we are going through the entire grid, this is a bit longer than the videos we usually have around here, but I figured that the summer break has started and there is not much MotoGP content around, so you won't mind a video which is a bit longer. Fabio Quartararo. He looked strong throughout the practice sessions, he fought with Pecco, he didn't put one foot wrong all throughout the weekend, and with the exception of missing the pole position, it doesn't get much better than that on a race weekend. With the 4th victory of the season, the championship lead is now 34 points, and Fabio in my books is not only the winner of the race but also the winner of the first half of the season. Maverick Vinales. After a weekend to forget last time around at Sachsenring and a lot of shots fired towards his employer, Maverick Vinales looked very strong since they rolled out the bike for the first time at Assen. He made headlines throughout the weekend for entirely different reasons, but that is a chat for another video. With the exception of FP4 and the race itself, he led all the sessions of the weekend and looked really consistent. He firmly believes that if he didn't face the clutch issue at the start of the race, he had the pace to win. A P2 result with a strong showing on all 3 days is definitely a big win. Garrett Gerloff. Standing in for injured Franco Morbidelli, Garrett Gerloff started strong from the beginning. Despite a couple of trips down the gravel trap, Garrett consistently improved and remained within touching distance of the pack all through the weekend. For some, finishing in P17 might not be so impressive, but when you start considering things like he has never been at Assen, which by the way is one of the most technical tracks on the calendar and is almost non-existent experience on a MotoGP bike, that P17 ahead of Luca Marini starts to look pretty decent. Let's count that as a win for him and move on to the other Petronas Yamaha. Valentino Rossi. Assen in my head was the place where Rossi was supposed to get his mojo back this year and get his 200th podium. Right from the get-go, he looked much more comfortable and made it to Q2 directly, which has become a rarity these days. But a bad start saw him drop from P12 to P21. By lap 7, he recovered back to P17, but sadly, that's where the race ended for him in the gravel trap, and given the magnitude of the decision pending for him, this crash might as well be the final straw. This weekend, the doctor goes into the loser column. Joan Mir. Struggling with the case of Saturday blues, Joan Mir once again had to start the race from P10. But once again, he showed why he is the world champion. A great attack at the beginning to make up all those places and a great defense in the later part of the race to come home in P3 is a big win for Joan Mir this weekend. Alex Rins. Rins as usual had something more than his teammate on Friday and Saturday, and as a result started the race from P7. A trip through the gravel trap after being pushed wide by Johann Zarco on lap 2 saw him drop down to the bottom of the pack early on. A strong race pace and sensible riding made him come up to P11, and given his recent streak, I count this as a win for him this weekend. Pecco Bagnaia. The way he turns that Ducati, he was their only hope at Assen, and he did make a lot of Fabio fans nervous for the first 7 laps. Once passed by Fabio, he struggled to keep the others behind him and in desperate attempts ran wide too many times and got himself a long lap penalty. From there, it was just a matter of not losing any more positions, but had he been more sensible once Fabio got away, he might have ended up in P4 or maybe even P3. Although I want to put him in the losers list, I think it might be too harsh, so we'll compromise and keep him in the average pile. Jack Miller. Jack did not look comfortable enough to be in the mix all weekend long. He started in P8, didn't make up any places, made a mistake on lap 15, crashed and rejoined in P18. Was shown the black flag with orange disc starting his summer break 8 laps early. The bike doesn't suit the track, but had he stayed on, he would have hauled in some decent championship points, and for the mistake and the crash, he ends up in the list of losers. Johann Zarco. He simply does not know the meaning of giving up. Once again, top Ducati rider gave Joan Mir a run for his money for that P3, and other than Fabio, kept all the other championship rivals behind him on a track that is worst for Ducati. A big win for the Frenchman in my books. Jorge Martin. Still in rehabilitation from his massive blow at Portimao, Jorge Martin ended his race on lap 15 because he says his hand fell asleep. On account of his physical condition, let's just throw this result in the average pile and hope that he can come back stronger after 5 weeks of summer break. Enea Bastianini. It is always tricky to rate the rookies, especially those on older bikes. Enea Bastianini kept it on 2 wheels all the way through the weekend and raked in a lot of experience along with 1 point for a P15 finish. Not bad, but nothing to celebrate either. An average Dutch GP for Bastianini. Luca Marini. The only frame of reference to judge Luka's performance is Enea, and finishing outside the points alone would have seen Luka ending up in the average pile. But ending up behind Garrett Gerloff, who is a wild card from a different category altogether, just about pushes Marini in the list of losers of Dutch GP. Miguel Oliveira. Miguel has been riding a podium wave with 3 in last 3 races, and the expectations were high in Assen as well. However, he struggled to find the comfort on the RC16 around the track. There was a ray of podium hope when he ended the FP4 session in P3. Starting from P6, Miguel had an uneventful race and came home in P5. Although not great by any means, this result still means that Oliveira is the strongest of the KTM bunch and can make the bike work in any conditions. Not a big but a small win for Oliveira at the Dutch GP. Brad Binder. Much like Sachsenring, Brad Binder struggled to find the lines and braking points on the big bike around the Assen track. As a result, they were tinkering with the bike up to after the warm-up session. With the goal of making it in top 10, Binder started from P21 but could only make it up to P12. Unable to meet his own expectation, he finds himself in the losers pile for this weekend. Danilo Petrucci. After a strong showing in the first practice session, Danilo Petrucci gave some hopes to his fans, but all of that faded away very soon and he ultimately started the race from P18. When you start from so far behind, you can only do so much. But Brad Binder, who is basically a rookie here, managed to get past him after starting 3 places behind him. With rumors of Raul Fernandez moving up to the only vacant Tech 3 seat in 2022, performances like this one don't help his case very much, and he too ends up on the loser's side. Iker Lecuona. Starting from P13, Iker Lecuona was having a great race and circulating in P11 but got a bit too comfortable and lost the front in the final chicane on lap 19. Potentially without a seat for next year, he seems to be on his way out of the paddock as he refused to step down to Moto2 category. Performances like this are not helping his case with a few vacant seats on the grid, and he too, like his teammate, ends up on the loser side. Marc Marquez. After a massive high side, which we no longer expect with modern electronics, Marc Marquez couldn't wait to start the summer break, and there were even rumors that he might not take part in the race on Sunday. Saturday didn't get much better for him either, as the 8-time world champion was set to start the race from P20, his worst ever qualifying result. Somehow on Sunday, Marc got a magical start and made up 10 places in the first 2 laps. Although struggling with his physical condition, Marc made up a few more places and finished the race as top Honda in P7. Not what we have come to expect from Marc Marquez, but given his physical condition, his starting position and Honda's problems, this performance was nothing less than heroic and he makes it to the list of winners of Dutch GP. Pol Espargaro. Even though Pol Espargaro had a much better starting position than his teammate, he didn't get a rocket start and stayed in P11, where he started. He stayed there for a long time and ended the race in P10. Given Honda's problems and Pol's inexperience on the RC213V, we will be a little lenient towards him and put him in the average bunch. Takaki Nakagami. For Dutch GP, all of Honda's hope were on Taka Nakagami. Starting from P4, he gave Pecco a good fight and we thought he was on his way to his first Premier Class podium. But as soon as he got passed by Vinales at around half race distance, he started dropping down the order like a stone. In a matter of 2 laps, he went down from P3 to P9, which is where he finally finished the race. Throwing away another podium chance partially due to pressure of running in the podium position means that he joins the list of losers of Dutch GP. Alex Marquez. After a strong second half of the season last year, it's like Alex has taken a step in the wrong direction. After starting the race from P16, the best he could do was a P14, despite 2 retirements ahead of him. Below average performances with full factory support from HRC cannot be justified, and as a result, Alex once again finds himself in losers column. Aleix Espargaro. Whenever on track, Aleix gives his all, and that is one of the reasons why Aprilia have come so far. Once again, Aleix had a solid weekend. He started from P9, had a lot of battles with Marc Marquez, brother Pol Espargaro, Taka Nakagami, and a couple of lunges down the inside of Pecco Bagnaia, and ultimately came home in P8. Another win for the Aprilia man with another 8 points in the bag. Lorenzo Savadori. Lorenzo Savadori looked a bit more comfortable on the bike on Friday, even showing up in top 10 positions. However, that didn't last long, and after starting the race from P15, the Aprilia rider dropped down to P16 at the checkered flag, despite 4 riders ahead of him not even finishing the race. He would have made it to the average list had he at least managed to keep his P15 until the end. However, no points in a race with 4 retirements and a wild card pushes him on the loser's side. If you made it till here, let me know by hitting the like button. And for more such content about all things MotoGP, subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell. Here are 2 more videos which you might enjoy. My name is Sankalp and I'll be back with another video very soon.